The CEO's Obsession, a Billionaire Romance. Chapter 1. The Interview. Isabella Carter smoothed down the sleeves of her only blazer, a second-hand navy piece that was slightly too big for her frame. She took a deep breath and stepped into the towering glass skyscraper of Blackwood Enterprises. It was the opportunity of a lifetime, an internship at one of the most powerful corporations in the country. As she entered the lobby, her stomach twisted with nerves. The space was sleek, modern, and intimidating, much like the man she was about to meet, Damian Blackwood. The name alone sent shivers down her spine. He was ruthless in business, a billionaire who had built his empire from the ground up, and infamous for his cutthroat reputation. She walked to the reception desk, clutching the leather strap of her worn-out satchel. "I have an interview at 10, she told the impeccably dressed receptionist, who barely spared her a glance before directing her to the top floor. The elevator ride felt endless. When the doors finally opened, she was met with a stunning view of the city, skyline, and an office so lavish it seemed to belong to royalty. And then she saw him. Damian Blackwood stood behind the massive mahogany desk, his broad shoulders framed by the floor-to-ceiling windows. He was tall, commanding, and devastatingly handsome. Midnight black hair, piercing gray eyes, and a chiseled jawline made him look like he belonged on the cover of a magazine rather than in a boardroom. His gaze swept over her, slow and assessing, making her shift on her feet. "Miss Carter," he said, his voice deep and smooth, laced with a quiet authority that made her pulse race. "You're early. I thought it would be best," she replied, forcing herself to meet his gaze. He smirked, clearly amused. "Punctuality is a good trait." He gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit." She obeyed, her fingers gripping the edge of her portfolio as he studied her, with an unreadable expression. "You're the top student in your program. Impressive." He glanced at her resume. "Scholarship student. No financial backing. No family support. You must be very determined." There was something about the way he said the word determined that sent a shiver down her spine. "I work hard," she said simply. His lips quirked as if he liked her answer. "I expect nothing less." For the next 20 minutes, he fired rapid questions at her, some about her skills, some about her aspirations. But there was something else beneath his scrutiny, a different kind of interest. And then, just as she thought the interview was ending, he leaned back in his chair, steepling his fingers. "One last question, Miss Carter." His voice was softer now, almost dangerous. "Do you have the strength to survive in my world?" Her heart pounded. She knew this wasn't just about business anymore. This man was dangerous, and she might have just stepped into something far more complicated than she ever expected.